What's going on, everybody? Welcome to week 11. Welcome back from spring break. Hope it was good, relaxing, ideally, and recharged now a little bit. We've got about a month left. I mean, with the last weeks of kind of reviewing things. So just kind of hunker down a little bit, kind of fight through. I know everyone's a little bit like tired or maybe over it, ready to go for your summers or graduations or whatever, but kind of get in there a little bit or a little bit more, and we'll be you'll be ready to rock here pretty soon. So and in this class, kind of to prepare for the end of this semester, not the end times in general, just the end times of this semester. We got your final projects coming up in about 5 weeks, so this is like the first draft for them. So kind of be thinking through. I want you to use this time to kind of start sort of determining your ideas, your main ideas, kind of narrowing down what you want to be looking at. So the draft process is a two-part process. So I split everybody up into groups, into sort of peer review groups, right? So what I want you to do is upload your draft to your assigned group. You can find these in the discussion tab. By alphabetical order, just kind of there. So upload your draft. And again, your draft, there's specific things I'm looking for here. So please follow those instructions, because I'm going to go back and look at all these myself and give comments. This just kind of helps me see where you're standing. And so like a one-page sort of summary of what you got right now, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be anything sort of in depth. In fact, please don't make it more than a page. I want to be able to, and your group members, I want them to be able to sort of skim this, get an idea of what you're talking about. And then, and I think just in doing that, you might be able to kind of see how to kind of focus your topics a little bit more, what you might want to focus on for your final project within your topic as well. And then do your outline, make an outline with your main points that you want to cover. I just added it now. You feel free to use AI for that. I mean, AI is a great tool for making summaries and outlines, get ideas. But then your key, and this is where you kind of go from, letting AI do it to you, kind of the human intelligence factor. Go back through that outline and kind of look at it. So what is it saying? Is that everything you want to talk about? Is there most likely going to be way too much of what you can do for the final project? So maybe within that outline, is there a specific main point you want to look at? Focus on, right, those kind of things. So use that AI to help narrow your focus, right? It's going to give you a huge list of things, probably, because that's what it does. But you go through and narrow that down. And then a works cited. So I want you to find like two primary sources for your topic. Again, a lot of those are going to be texts with if you're doing anything with Christianity, one better be the Gospels or the New Testament at least, if not both from there. But what books, what are you using, those kind of things. And then secondary sources. Start thinking about secondary sources you're going to use. Are there a particular website, or an article, journal article, something like that that you can use, and kind of look at that. Start evaluating those as well. So and then so do all that by Friday, turn it in by Friday, and then over the weekend, and then by Monday, look at your other group members and give some feedback. And I have links to Google Docs that you can unload there and make a copy of. You can just fill out the Google Doc there, then load it right up into either your response, or just respond directly to your partners. However you want to go about doing that is manageable. So that's kind of the process, two-pronged process, and I'll go through and kind of look at those myself as well. So that's that. And again, ideas here, and I will probably say it on a lot of your drafts. Try to figure out how to narrow down your topics. So that your first drafts and ideas were probably pretty broad. And in fact, if you want to change from what you said in the beginning of the semester to what you're doing now, totally fine. I mean, that's, maybe new things have come up, but just kind of try to narrow that down and try to figure out something that's manageable, right? I mean, religions can be very broad. There's entire sort of libraries, branches, areas of libraries, shelves of libraries that for Jesus and Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism, right? I mean, you can't do everything. So what do you want to say about that specifically? So that's that. And in this week, we're learning about Buddhism, kind of the origins of Buddhism, who the Buddha was, Siddhartha Gautama, how he was a prince in a palace, and then came out, had those visions of the old man, sick man, dying man, and then kind of question the world that he was from. Went on to like kind of figure out why the world is the way it is, and then he becomes enlightened. The moment of enlightenment is this four noble truths that life is suffering. There's a cause of suffering that causes desire, but that can be, or the cause is desire. There's a cessation to that cause. There's a remedy to that, and that's the eight fold path. So be look at that, and that's kind of the main element of Buddhism, right? And then there's Buddhist teachings in the Tripitaka, the sutras, are a lot of collections of Buddhist teachings. The Dharma, that's what that is, the Dharma to follow. So there's three jewels: the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Sangha is a monastic world. So in Buddhism, there's lays and monks. The laity supports the monastics, accrues merit for doing such, right? Which then release themselves from samsara through this moment of nirvana, which is a little bit different than moksha, right? The other big difference here is why it's a heterodox religion is there's no gods in Buddhism yet. And it's touchy there, but in the beginning of Buddhism, there was no gods. Buddha is not a god. He's just he's a role model to follow, and there's no varna system, right? There's no class system within Buddhism. The lecture says no karma, but I had a student ask me about that, and I kind of and I'll redo this lecture and slide, but within Buddhism, karma is minimized. The effects of karma is minimized. It still exists. It's sort of like a cause and effect. Things happen, but there's ideas of intention with karma. But whereas in Hinduism, karma is like a generational. It sticks with you over and over again. That's not really the case within Buddhism. That the karma doesn't really, each moment there's this idea of impermanence. Things aren't permanent. The self isn't permanent. Dependent origination, kind of the ways in which the world goes, are moments in time. So karma can affect those moments in time, but there's not as long-lasting elements of karma. So karma is there, but it's not as prominent within Buddhism. So it's kind of the Buddhist stuff, and then I gave that explains sort of the Buddhist beliefs, some of the Buddhist practices as well there. And then so early Buddhism, that's kind of what it's about. Also talked about Jainism, another heterodox religion, borrows some of those concepts, has nirvana, has karma, but in Jainism, karma is actually a substance. It can attach to the soul. So it's there as well, and they have ways to liberate Tatankaras and sort of Mahavira is a big person there. So it's a little bit of those religions. That's everything I got. So just kind of work through your drafts of your final projects, and have a good rest of your week.